Hi there, this is IK. Welcome to video about, to be clear, about rendering of component and calling useEffect. This moment, when it is empty array here, we are in read component, useEffect. First parameter is this, and after comma is the second parameter is array. It is useEffect. UseEffect would be called in a moment, in event finished rendering. Every component there is event cycle, life cycle event, and that event can call some hook. And the useEffect is a hook for coding what we want to happen in a moment when component finished rendering. And in this moment we want access, we want get complete post from server, and it is here, and we're coding that inside of body of this arrow function. We coding the code what we need for access, for get all post from server, and that all post would be rendered in a table. Here it is. It would be rendered. This is table. Cancel. This is table where is rendered that post in read. When we component rule is every component rendered every time after mutating of state of that component. This component, there is this component, there is a for state, post, show edit form, update ID is loading. When it changes any of that state, would be rendered component would be rendered. Stop here. Let's go to see that. Look at now. Here, here in useEffect, here in useEffect, I coding alert read.js finished rendering. It means that we will see every time when this component read would be rendered, we will see alert. Let's go to see that. I refresh. I see read finished rendering. We see alert box waiting that we click on OK. We click on OK and we will see table below form for adding. It is table, here it is all posts. But now we change that post. For example, update. For example, delete. Delete. Never mind, delete. nothing. There is no rendering. We change update. There is no rendering. There is no rendering. There is no alert. But what about rendering? What about rule that every time state changes, every time component re-rendering? Why component don't re-rendering? Because of the useEffect not every time called. Here is a useEffect. useEffect is not every time called. useEffect is called only first time when component rendering. After that, no. After that, no. Rendering exists, re-rendering exists every time some of states changes, but that rendering and event finished rendering, we don't see alert because that event didn't call useEffect. Why didn't call useEffect? Because we here have empty array. And that empty array, it is second parameter of that. First parameter in this body. First parameter is this. And second parameter is this array. Empty array means there is no dependence. useEffect, there is no dependence. But look at now. When we write here post, it means that useEffect depend of changes, any changes of post, any time, and would be called when post changes. And now when we change this post with add post, with delete, update, we will see alert. We will see alert. Let's go to see. No. Okay, we see now. It is about post. But look at now, we cannot resolve that. It is closed. It is always repeating because useEffect that calling server, but we didn't call server. We did not again call server, and after that want the delete want activate useEffect, and etc. etc. It is closed. We cannot resolve this this rendering, and I remove post from here. And now look at now, it is last from before, and now we have only one on the beginning. Refresh it now. On the delete there is no update, there is no calling useEffect, or update, there is no calling, update. But now we take other dependency, update ID, Ctrl C, update useEffect. Here is it is a state what start empty, and after that take ID, value of ID, here it is. Okay. Now, when I clock, it is initial time. Read is okay. We have all post calling from server and we want update. When I click update, that moment number 4 would be value of update ID. State update ID, here it is. Update ID, update ID, update ID. Start nothing. Here is a declare and assign value by hook use state, and the initial value is empty, nothing. But update ID, when we click update in read, let's go to see update, handle update, here it is. On click, we call function handle update and set post.id set 4, number 4, post.id is 4, of that row in which is that button update. And the post.id is argument. Difference between parameter and argument, argument is value, but parameter is a generic name, it is variable. Parameter is variable, but when that variable have concretely value, like now it is 4, handle update, parameter is 4, it is argument. Concretely value is argument. And let's go to see handle update, what that function does. Handle update, here it is. Handle update, there is a value 4, we will see in a row, it is 4. Mutate update ID, and now update ID was empty, now is 4. Update ID, and function set update ID, mutate update ID, it is now 4, mutate by immutable way. It is that function and that hook set state and give us state and function, and that function here is set update ID, and that function, only that function can mutate state. And update ID now is 4, is mutated. Here it is update ID. It means that now when I go to see what happened, when I click on update button, that moment changes update ID, and that moment must be re-render of component, and must be calling useEffect, because here we write dependency that useEffect depend of this state update ID. It means every changes of update ID we will see this alert. It means not only that component is rendered, but that useEffect also is called. Let's go to see only on that state. Now first initial rendering of read. You look at down is empty, there is no table, there is no post. Okay, and post coming from server and is visible and rendering in table. Now I click delete, there is nothing. It is delete post. Delete, post get out. It is our 4, ID 4. Now And now I click on delete because we don't write posts dependency post. No, only update ID dependence. It means when we click update, that moment will be changed. Update ID, click update, and that moment we see alert. Component rendering and calling useEffect. Because alert is inside useEffect. Okay. Now I edit and I update now. Look at now. Update now. There is a no. It means that update ID now in this moment stay is number 3, is this number 3, because we didn't mutate it. It is now 3. It was empty. We click update. It was 3 because on this row, and after all process, that update ID is number 3. Because of that, when I click now on update, click on update, there is no useEffect calling, there is no re-rendering, because update ID is number 3. And okay, never mind, cancel. But when I click on 4 or 2 here is a true update, we have rendering and calling useEffect. Okay. Also, when we click update, we have changes of show edit form. And let's go here. Show edit form, and look at now we show edit. It is an update ID rendering, but show edit form here. After update, for example, this is B. After update, we change. We have changed, and we have changed in update, and we change in the second update. We have true. That switch show edit form, that flag, and we have false. At beginning now it is false, but when we click here it is true, and when we click again update it is false. Let's go to see that here. Not update, but let's go here is show edit form. Show edit form. Show edit form. This first one. Okay, refresh. Initial. Rendering component, calling useEffect. It is initial rendering. Okay, and we look at all posts. Now, when I click update, we have show edit form begin false. Show edit form begin false. Show edit form begin false. Here it is. But when we click update, update, here it is, button update, we have set show edit form true. It means must activate alert, must call useEffect. And when we click again, it is form update. And when we click again this button update, we must see, because it is in form, There is no on click here. We have seen what happened on submit. Handle submit. We must see handle submit. Here is handle submit. Handle submit. Send request put. Request put to server and set show edit form false. There is a logic. We send put to server and edit form we don't need. That moment set show edit form to false. It means that we will re-rendering 2 times, and re-rendering 2 times will be called useEffect, and we will see alert because alert is inside of useEffect. Let's go to C. First update, initial, okay, initial rendering, update, first update, it is, and now I remove, pardon, where I must watch, it is in read, show edit form, okay, we have show edit form, let's go here, initial rendering, okay, we have in table all posts, and now first update must be re-rendering because it is a show is true, show edit form is true, okay. I edit and I now second update, it is form update. Update here will be show edit form flags or switch will be false, and it would be activate re-rendering, but also would be call to use effect. Click update. Okay, re-rendering. Re-rendering. Conclude and repeat. We don't need dependency here because initial rendering of component take all post and render all post in table. After that, we delete, update, add a new post, all in this read component. And every time of that, we have rendering of component, re-rendering of component. But we not every rendering of component call useEffect. And because of that, we only see initial rendering call useEffect only. Alert is in useEffect, inside useEffect, and alert would be activate only when is activate useEffect. useEffect activate only initial rendering, and after that never. Not calling after rendering, it will be after deleting, after add new post, after update, and second update button will be update, will be rendering, but will be rendering, but useEffect will not be called, and because of that we don't see this alert. Now our empty array here means no dependency. useEffect hook is not dependence. There is no dependency. It's not dependent of any state and would not be called. And like that, we have better performance because we don't go to server every time, a second time. We must go to server delete, and after that, server give us a response, and we must change by that response. We must change or mutate, and again activate, and that activate re-rendering, but re-rendering again call useEffect, and we have a loop like we see. Loop. Okay. Let's go to see here. Okay. Refresh. Initial rendering. After that, update. Update. Nothing. There is no rendering. Delete. Delete. Add. Add. There is no re-rendering. There is no calling useEffect. Re-rendering there is every time. Every time there is re-rendering. Every time. Every changes of any state. But there is no calling useEffect. And it is better performance. It means that when we send, for example, delete, when we handle delete, we send delete request to server, and we set, we have a response, and we after that, if response is all is okay, we have here set post. We mutate state, and this mutation of state, if we would be dependent, if useEffect would be dependent, calling again inside useEffect after this, calling rendering of component, but component calling useEffect, repeat sending delete to server, and after that again re-rendering if is dependent. It is a closed loop. It is that loop said us that it would not be good. It is waste of resource, waste of time, and cannot work like that. And because of that, empty array in useEffect, and rule that component re-render every time when state changes is strictly and is always rule. That rule is always true. But useEffect, we can regulate dependency. Okay. If you know somebody that need a video like this, tell them. Talk about your social network about this video. Comment, subscribe, like, all that we have a name for all that. It is engagement. And your engagement means growing our knowledge of every us, and the bigger community around this video would be better and growing learning for all of us. Thank you for watching this video.